Now, I'm not saying that James Carville is a barely functioning with nothing left of value in this world. I'm not saying that at all. I'm also not saying it's pointless to tar and feather him because he still sheds his skin twice a year. And I'm also not saying if James Carville choked to death on one of his morning feedings of live mice, he wouldn't be missed. Wow, it sure is fun to not say things. I'm going to start.
In a sharp live exchange, Greg Gutfeld seemed to get the upper hand over James Carville, firing off a rapid series of jokes mixed with his trademark sarcasm and grin. Gutfeld challenged Carville's familiar political talking points, portraying them as old-fashioned and out of touch, quickly shifting the tone of what many expected to be a one-sided discussion. Carville tried to push back and regain momentum, but Gutfeld stayed a step ahead, responding to each argument almost immediately. The back and forth moved fast, and before viewers had time to process it all, Carville appeared to come away looking rattled during the live broadcast.
Bracing Pumpkinhead just yet. Carville's like a parent who doesn't say anything about his rotten brat until it affects him and crashes his Mercedes. This problem's been here for years. It's done untold damage. It's cost a lot of death. And now he calls BS on it? Thanks, but you're showing up at last call. Let's not forget what else he said. He said that people that go to Trump rallies are pretty much brain-dead deplorables. He said some pretty awful things. If he could call them retarded, he would have. So his criticisms actually hit everyone, and it doesn't come from a place of common sense or common people. It comes from an elitist perch. He's not a man of the people. He's a man protecting the system that paid him well. On the whole, he would prefer to jail a Trump supporter who stole a podium over an Antifa creep who burns a business. So there you go.
Watching that exchange was like seeing a spark hit a pile of fireworks. James Carville, known for his sharp political instincts and unmistakable Southern style, came into the discussion ready to make his case with a familiar set of arguments he has used for years. But instead of gaining ground, he ran into a fast-moving wave of humor and quick responses that made his point seem dated. Greg Gutfeld kept control of the conversation by breaking down each argument piece by piece, rather than simply answering back. As Gutfeld stayed in rhythm, Carville struggled to keep pace, and the debate slowly turned into a showcase of timing and confidence. When Gutfeld finds his groove, it feels less like a debate and more like a live performance. In this round, Carville had a hard time keeping up.
Political strategist and hairless goblin James Carville trash talked his fellow Dems in our video of the day. Roll it, Agatha.
We keep wondering why these young people aren't coming home to the Democrats, why blacks are not coming home to the Democrats. Because Democratic messaging is full of that's why.
Wow.
And talk about cost of living. And we're going to help deal with this. And don't talk about GAFA and student loans.
Kennedy, that nice little old lady is making some sense.
Right. She really is.
She's such a gentle lesbian. What's her name?
James Carville built his reputation on sharp political instincts and quick, hard-hitting campaign messages. Decades ago, he played a key role in helping Bill Clinton win the White House, and his approach was once seen as the gold standard in political strategy. But this time, he seemed slightly out of step with the moment. Familiar lines like, "It's the economy, stupid," sounded more like echoes from the past than powerful arguments for the present. The confidence was still there, but in today's fast-moving media environment, those old talking points didn't carry the same impact they once did.
Carville looks like someone liberated him from a glass tank at Petco. Glad he's taking a break from hunting down Sigourney Weaver. But is he saying these people should be placed in pajamas, have their heads shaved, and march down Pennsylvania Avenue and spit on?
I'm not saying that these people should be placed in pajamas and have their heads shaved, march down Pennsylvania Avenue and spit on. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that did happen. And I'm saying that these people betrayed the French nation.
I feel like he's like a therapist to the Democrats. Democrats are like a patient. And he's just tired of their constant whining without actually doing the work that a therapist would tell you to do.
Well, Carville on the idea that there's like a Republican plan. What is wrong with that 10 or 15% of Democrats that everything that they say, this plant or whomever it is, it's a progressive, it's not a Republican. You know, let's mutilate kids. Let's put men in women's locker rooms, and let's make sure that we have these drag shows for kids. And they're like, yay! It's their fault. It's stupid. And he's right.
Dana, did I hear Jessica say that we should doge?
As James Carville launched into another strong warning about what he saw as threats to democracy from the political right, the intensity in his delivery was hard to miss. But when it came to clearly defining those threats, his argument seemed less focused than forceful. Then Greg Gutfeld stepped in. Rather than responding with the same level of emotion, he let Carville's comments sit for a moment before turning them into jokes and sending them back with a grin. From the beginning, Gutfeld appeared to view the discussion as a chance to challenge political talking points that he felt belonged to an earlier era. While Carville cast a wide net with his arguments, Gutfeld stayed locked in, carefully sticking to the approach he had chosen from the start.
Dana, did I hear Jessica say that we should doge electric car subsidy?
The theory is that Carville's right because, who's more likely, to get hit by lightning? Somebody who's sitting in their couch at home or somebody who goes out at night for a run. Anybody who actually takes action puts themselves at risk, and always in action, always in play, a lot like you on the weekends.
Hard to see insight into, what Carville says. I don't know how he became the wise man of politics.
Nostradamus.
Greg Gutfeld stayed composed and showed no sign of being shaken by James Carville's warnings about what he called rising extremism. Some of Carville's comments felt like a throwback to an earlier political era, when moments like a saxophone appearance on late-night television could dominate the national conversation. His remarks seemed aimed at energizing longtime cable news audiences. The discussion grew more intense when Carville leaned on his decades of political experience, suggested that his background gave him a unique perspective. But the more pressure he applied, the more relaxed Gutfeld appeared. Responding calmly to concerns about the economy and outside influence, Gutfeld argued that public debates today are shaped by a very different cultural landscape. In a time when even the simplest ideas can spark major controversy, the conversation took on a much broader meaning.
James Carville's wondering if there's a plant in the party, pushing them to back the dumbest ideas possible. Watch.
It's like there's a plant somewhere in, quote, progressive, unquote, America that just sees how many stupid things that they can embrace. There has to be a AI-generated, progressive generator of really...
Greg Gutfeld calmly argued that simply being around for a long time does not automatically make someone wise. Sometimes, he suggested, it can mean failing to keep up with changing times. He refused to back down, especially when discussions seemed to circle back to the same familiar solutions. As James Carville delivered another warning about misinformation on the right, Gutfeld listened with a relaxed and slightly amused expression. The contrast reflected a broader shift in public attitudes. Today's audiences are often more skeptical of dramatic crisis-driven language, especially when it comes from voices they have been hearing for decades. In a fast-moving, social media-driven world, political strategies that worked in the early 1990s no longer have the same effect.
A certain coastal arrogance in this country, and people feel it. The Western far left is habitually the most stupid, naive people you can imagine. And they come up with these really goofy constructs, and it's all about feeling.
Using familiar warnings he has relied on for years, James Carville criticized opponents he believes are too quick to dismiss terms like racist or threat to democracy. Greg Gutfeld answered with calm confidence, using timing, humor, and measured responses rather than raising his voice. He challenged what he saw as exaggerated claims and stayed composed throughout the exchange. By the end, Carville seemed less certain, highlighting a broader trend. Many viewers have heard the same warnings for decades, and those messages no longer carry the impact they once did.
Washington Post ran a fluff bomb celebrating centrist Democrat women, going gaga over their resumes, mom energy, and group chat chemistry. But in this journalistic stroke job, not a single policy position was mentioned, which is weird. That's like doing a profile on me and not mentioning my many bodybuilding awards. Thank you. So why is that? Why'd they bend so far backward to avoid a basic stance? Maybe because in the current state of their party, it's better just to keep your head down and to stay safe. They substitute substance with nicknames, the Mod Squad or the Badass Caucus. But it's fake.
Gutfeld didn't hold back. He argued that constant predictions of doom have become more performance than reality, and that fear-based messaging no longer connects with many viewers. Instead of responding with anger, he used humor, timing, and sharp observations to make his point. With a few well-placed remarks, he challenged what he saw as political posturing, and reminded audiences that they value honesty and genuine comedy over scripted talking points. In the process, he not only pushed back against Carville's arguments, but also questioned the larger political and media circles that continued to support them.
Worst rated president a month into his presidency than any president in United States history. That's the fact. I can be fact checked. They can do whatever they want.
That's fine. We can go with this. In 2025, he's at plus 4 points. Look where he was in 2017, his first term at this point. He was at minus 5 points, so he's doing nearly 10 points better on the average. And more than that, as I mentioned, it's not just the CBS News poll, it's the Ipsos poll, it's the Gallup poll, it's the Pew poll.
You're reading these polls, and I'm reading a poll saying the Democrats are 13 points up in the congressional generic, that Donald Trump has the lowest approval rating of any president at this point in his presidency in American history. So your viewers are getting one view, and I'm reading another view. So one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
He's in. Every single day, Donald Trump has been in positive territory compared to just 11 days during his first term.
It's not going to do any good for us to sit here and argue, because your viewers can believe you, and it can go to real clear politics, and they can actually...
The Dems aren't losing the black and Hispanic vote. They're losing the black and Hispanic men.
By the halfway point, Gutfeld seemed to have figured out Carville's approach, and the audience appeared to enjoy every minute of it. Carville's once famous comebacks felt less sharp than they once did, sounding more familiar than surprising. Meanwhile, Gutfeld stayed relaxed and focused, answering with quick humor and observations that felt more in tune with today's political and media landscape. The contrast between old-school political messaging and a newer style of commentary became one of the defining moments of the exchange.
Right? Why don't they break that down, that men are fleeing the Democratic Party like it's a showing of Barbie? It's because it's terrifying to them that they're becoming the party of awfuls, right? Affluent, white, female liberals. The Democratic Party has become almost like a political version of the Bud Light commercial with Dylan Mulvaney. They've alienated men in order to please miserable activists. And men are like, hey, we know when we're not wanted. We'll see ourselves out. We know what a woman is, right? We know what's best for our kids. We know what it takes to protect our cities and our families. And we're tired of apologizing for laughing at funny jokes and it having natural testosterone, right? So they know that the Democratic Party has become a gender-specific party.
The contrast was hard to miss. Gutfeld's sharp responses cut through the frustration and kept the conversation moving. Rather than relying on nostalgia, he focused on the present, suggesting that success in today's political world comes from quick thinking, humor, and the ability to see through media spin. More than a clash of generations, the exchange reflected a shift in style and expectations. The message was simple. Old political playbooks do not carry the same weight they once did. In Gutfeld's view, ideas earn attention by staying relevant, not by relying on past victories.